Hello and welcome then to RWR Plays TEW2020. This is our local to global series. We are, of course, playing as the Random Wrestling Review, and we're in February 1997 now, having started all the way back in September of 1995. So we're moving through the timeline in game super fast, and that was one of the draws of this series for me, was being able to be a lot more light touch in terms of taking us through the series, as compared to the WCW series that we did a way back. Now, we left the last episode on somewhat of a cliffhanger because we came out of RWR 90 Minutes of Mayhem, our most recent show, where, by the way, the feedback was that it was not that bad, given that the company is so small. I mean, what a compliment that is to our show. But the big news that was coming out was the injury to Blitzkrieg. Now, as you'll see here, it's going to be worked through. So he's going to be injured for 2 months and 3 weeks with this Smith's fracture, which I don't know much about, but it is being worked through. So he is not going to miss any time in the ring, although obviously it will impact his performances during that period. So, not the worst news. I mean, he could have been out for I don't know how long, like a year or something, if in some cases, but he's not going to be. We're okay, but at the same time, his performance is definitely going to be impacted by that going forward. And you'll remember we had to book on the fly during the last episode because of that injury. We had booked Blitzkrieg to beat Kid Chaos, but when the match happened, Blitzkrieg got injured, and as a consequence, during the match, they had to change the result on the fly, and Kid Chaos got the victory, which means that we had to then change a later segment which referenced Blitzkrieg winning that match. So that was all panic stations for a little bit, but we're through it. We're out the other side, and we are now moving on to March of 1997. So yeah, it could have been worse. It's just meant I've had to bring forward a match and a story a little bit earlier than I thought I would have to, and I'll go into that in a little bit of detail in a minute. Before then, of course, as we're loading and going towards March 1997, it's a good opportunity for me to ask you to give us a like and a subscribe. It's always nice to get the kind of validation of your likes, but also that helps the channel. And obviously, if you are intending to follow along with the series and continue to follow along with the series, then a subscribe really helps as well. And in addition to all of that, we've just, in the last couple of weeks, launched a series of videos where we review every single match in WrestleMania history. Now, these are, in truth, clips from a series that we did between 2022 and 2024, reviewing every single WrestleMania show, which you can find on our podcast feed, the Random Wrestling Review, where we've got over 250 episodes. But some of those 250 episodes were our reviewing of every single WrestleMania. There is an episode for every single WrestleMania and every single night of WrestleMania that we did during that point. And I am now releasing, I should say, clips of the shows from that period, with a match covered every single day. So check that out on our YouTube channel. Right. News then. First of all, at the beginning of March 97, WWF have apparently begun negotiations to extend the contract of one of their top stars, Shawn Michaels, and their company are confident that the deal will be done very soon without any problems. Randy Savage has got a new catchphrase. Lovely. Meantime, we've got some work to do. The first thing we need to do, of course, is create a new event for this next show that we're going to be putting on Saturday, week 2. As always, we're going to stick with the hour and 30 minutes. We've now got longer shows than we had in the past. And this one's going to be, what's this one going to be called? Obviously, at the end of the last show, we had Michael Modest effectively say that Kimo could have a RWR North West title shot so long as he put his career on the line. So I don't know what we're going to call this one, if I'm honest. Gambling on success. I pride myself on these names being awful, by the way. So I'm particularly happy with that one. But there we go. RWR Gambling on Success. And I also want to bring in a new wrestler. I'm very aware that we now, because we're going to be having longer shows, we do need more wrestlers on the roster in order to allow us to do so. But I'm not seeing the person or a person that I want to bring in here. Just have a look at the Northwest again, see if there's anybody that works for me. Don't think there is. The reason, do we need to worry about keeping it to the Northwest? I'm going to just say America now because, to be honest, we're making a profit, and I don't think that's going to be a problem for a while going forward. So I'm going to just hire whoever I want. I think that makes sense. There's quite a lot of people here. What I'm looking for is somebody who is pretty big. So I'm going to go minimum size light heavyweight. 911 might work for the role I've got in mind here. Uh, let's just have a look. Barry Windham. I obviously got to check out. I don't want to go with someone really expensive, as well as having to pay for their travel costs, obviously. So that's kind of a non-starter. Just looking through this list. Dave Batista's available. 1997. Oh, I like this. I'm going to do this. I think this works, both from a perspective of just keeping things interesting, but also, yeah, see, he wants his travel cost covered, so that's fine. We're going to do it for Batista, but also I get to put his picture on the thumbnail, so that will help the views, surely. So yeah, Dave Batista is going to be signed by us. So that's cool. So let's start to move forward to the next show. Um, yeah, so I gave a few plugs there when we were loading the last time around, and yeah, I'd love it if you could join us on in some of those places. As I say, we've got a podcast now that has 250 episodes. So I'll just clear this up because Batista has signed, so that's a big one. Um, and yeah, and so we've got 250 episodes. We've been doing it for nearly 5 years by this point. So I'm really pleased with it, and I think it's well worth a listen. It is for adults only, though. It's not something that children should listen to. There's a lot of swearing. There's a lot of explicit stuff in there, and we do take a reasonably, I guess you might call, kind of casual route through the reviews for each of the shows that we do. You know, they tend to last about an hour and a half to 2 hours, although some of the earlier episodes are a bit longer than that. And we talk a lot of nonsense, I'll be honest with you. Lots of stuff where we go off topic and various other things. So yeah, check it out. It is the primary reason why this YouTube channel exists. So it'd be remiss of me not to mention it. And also, obviously, do subscribe because I'm intending for the episodes of this series to keep coming out every Tuesday and Thursday for the foreseeable future. So, yeah, I think that's my hope. That's the schedule I hope I can keep, and I'm pretty confident that I can keep to that schedule. So we are ready for our next show, and about time, really. So RWR Gambling on Success. Now, first thing I'm going to do is an angle, and it is going to be between Michael. It's going to be between Kimo and Michael Modest. It's going to start with Kimo coming to the ring, and he's basically going to say that he doesn't have to. Um, he doesn't have to put his career on the line to get a title shot because he should be the number one contender. And then Michael Modest is going to come out and say, "Well, you've got since you lost your last attempt at the title, you've got one win. So has Buddy Wayne. In fact, I'm going to put Buddy Wayne in here over us off screen. So has Blitzkrieg. And now, so has Kid Chaos, having beaten Blitzkrieg on the last show. So, in order for me to pick, so I can pick any of those people. I can pick any of those four people, Buddy Wayne, Blitzkrieg, Kid Chaos, or yourself, to be the number one contender. The only reason I'm going to pick you is if you're willing to put your career on the line. And so Kimo accepts that situation is going to be the case. Now, I'll put in the main event now because this is a pretty big match. I'm going to go 17 minutes with it. We'll have the usual storytelling and slow build to it. Actually, I might not bother with the storytelling because I can do that on another match, can't I now, since we're doing this in this way. And the winner is going to be Michael Modest. That's right. We are saying goodbye to Kimo. And that is because this was always my intention for Kimo. I'll be honest. It was always my intention. I just wasn't expecting to do it this early. And when I say this early, I mean, I would have done it in the next 2-3 months. But the whole thing with Blitzkrieg's injury has pushed this forward because what I wanted to do effectively was have Michael Modest face Blitzkrieg next for the title, and be like, and then beat him, and then Kimo wanting a title shot, and Michael Morris kind of holding out basically on him getting a title shot, and then Morris saying, "Well, the only way I'll face you is if you put your career on the line." So we had to fast forward that when the whole Blitzkrieg injury happened, and you've seen here Dave Batista's going to interfere against Kimo, so that's how Batista's going to make his debut at this in this promotion. Now, where else do I want to go with this? I want to put together a tag team match. So I think Blitzkrieg and Ed Moretti are going to be on opposite sides of the ring. I think Ed Moretti will have Wellington Wilkins Jr. as his teammate, and Blitzkrieg is going to have probably Buddy Wayne. I think I was looking at Stasiak for a minute, but I think Buddy Wayne's probably the right one. So that's a tag team match. Yes, Blitzkrieg's carrying an injury. That's fine. I think what we'll do is we'll have Buddy Wayne carry their side of the match. I should also say, before going any further, that I do have a cold still. I have a little bit of a cough. It is affecting me somewhat. I may need to pause now and again to take a cough or even sneeze, because that's right. What I can feel right now is a sneeze coming. So yeah, the victor's going to be, we're going to have Buddy Wayne. Let's have Blitzkrieg pin Wellington Wilkins Jr. So yeah, nice to have a tag team match on the show. Pinfall finish, and that's the match there. I still need to book 28 more minutes, so I may need a third match here, which was not my intent. I may actually make this a bit longer, and I may also make the tag team match a bit longer. I don't want to make that too long because we've got the problem with Blitzkrieg and his injury that might affect that one. This is going to be the first segment. So what I'm going to do after the tag team match, we're going to have basically Ed Moretti. He's going to attack his tag team partner, Wellington Wilkins Jr., until Buddy Wayne and Blitzkrieg see him off. Moretti blames Wilkins for the loss, and Wayne and Blitzkrieg warn him off. So obviously still got the feud going on between Blitzkrieg and Ed Moretti as well. What I want to do in this one is we're going to have a turn here because Wellington Wilkins Jr. is going to kind of thank them uh, in for saving him, basically. We do need to set him to turn. Uh, yeah, to be honest, what I want to do with him is kind of just turn him into like the lovable underdog, because obviously he's lost every match that he's been in so far. If we look at his match history throughout our time and maybe just have our promotion showing, yeah, he's lost everything. He's lost every single match, and that's fine because I'm not, I've never seen him as an important part of this, but I just think this might be a quite interesting little way for us to go with him. Also, I'm going to set Dave Batista's um, gimmick. He's got a badass gimmick that might work, but we do want him to be a heel when he comes in. Maybe though, I might change it. I'm wondering if I change this one to. I had the idea of Silent Assassin. I think badass will do actually. I think we'll just keep it as badass. That's fine. So we've still got 15 more minutes. We're going to need to have a third match, which I wasn't really looking to do. We've only got one match that it can be, which is Kid Chaos and Sean Stasiak. So we'll do that. And this one, I think we're going to have Sean Stasiak win, and by submission. And I think we'll have them work the crowd as well, which we haven't really done yet. So that's going to be the first segment of the show as well, due to that. Still need 2 more minutes. Let's up this to 8 minutes. We are not going to be penalised. Booking analysis is mainly about the injury to Blitzkrieg and then the announcing. Fine. So we're ready to go on this, arguably the biggest show we've ever done. We've got 5 segments. We've got 8 wrestlers. This could be. We'll see what this does to our finances, but this is pretty significant in terms of the numbers of wrestlers we're using and the number of segments we've got. So let's do it. And we've got 67 people, which I think is a record attendance. Starting with Sean Stasiak defeating Kid Chaos in 11 minutes 14 by submission. Stasiak a 28 in-ring performance, Kid Chaos an 18, who was also off his game. Segment rating of 25. Sean Stasiak continues to be probably our top performer. I'll be honest with you. I'm reluctant to make him our main star because I'm just not a big fan of Sean Stasiak as a wrestler. But I mean, the evidence of the game is telling me I need to make him a bigger deal in this company. So we'll see how we react to that. Then we have the angle where Kimo comes out and says, "Look, you know, I should be the number one contender anyway. You don't have any right to make me put my career on the line." You probably say it in a bit more of a heroic way than that because he's supposed to be a babyface, right? So we don't want him to come across as really whiny. Michael Morris is then going to come out and say, "Look, since you last had your last title shot, you've got the same number of wins as Buddy Wayne, Blitzkrieg, and Kid Chaos, so I can choose any one of you for this match. The only way I'm going to choose you is if you put your career on the line." And so Kimo does so. Kimo puts his career on the line, and we're going to have the match later on. Segment rating of 21. Kimo clearly enjoyed having the freedom to go off script and perform well. I think Kimo's been pretty good for us. It's not like I want to get rid of him because I don't think he's been very good. It's just this has always been the plan, right from when I first brought him in, probably at the end of 1995. This has always been the end point that I saw for this previous partnership. Then we get the tag team match. Blitzkrieg and Buddy Wayne defeat Ed Moretti and Wellington Wilkins in 1540 when Blitzkrieg pins Wellington Wilkins with a Sky Twister press. The big problem here is Blitzkrieg's injury, which took a big toll. Wellington Wilkins had an in-ring performance of 21, Buddy Wayne at 26, Ed Moretti 22, a segment rating of 20 overall, and I think also us limiting Blitzkrieg's involvement also hurt this match. In addition to that, the crowd didn't seem to like Wellington Wilkins hinting at the face turn that he's about to do, which is right here, where after the match, Moretti blames Wilkins for the loss, but Wayne and Blitzkrieg warn him off. And this gets a segment rating of 24, and we're going to handle the change now. Turn babyface. Didn't go down particularly well. Who cares? No problem at all. Wilkins is not a big deal. This is just a way to flip him over to the other side of the roster. And then we have the main event, Kimo versus Michael Modest, in not a particularly good match. It dragged in the middle with a lack of flow being noticeable. Kimo was off his game, possibly because he knew he was going to be leaving as a consequence of this match. 21 minutes and 1 second. Michael Morris defeats Kimo with a reality check following interference from the debuting Dave Batista. And Michael Morris makes defense number 2 of the RWR North West title. We finished the show there. Not a great show, but an overall rating of 22. 5 segments, as I say, a bit more meat on the bones of these shows at the moment, which is cool. I think I'm going to give Buddy Wayne some praise. He seemed to do pretty well in this one. I'm also going to give Sean Stasiak some praise because he was the best performer. I guess also we should give Blitzkrieg his flowers for, working through injury. So that's our end of show speech sorted out. Now let's have a look at what that's done to our finances because, we have lost a bit of money, although we'll make it back over the course of the rest of the month. So having Dave Batista and paying for his travel and having 8 wrestlers on a show has not hurt us. In fact, we will continue to turn a profit this month. So that just means it's good because we're able now to sort of test the limit of what we can afford and how much we can spend, and we can do it slowly because we're still building. If you look at our size, we are now up to 4 in the Northwest, obviously just the 1 in the Southwest, but we're still growing. We're still really small, so we've still got a lot of leeway to make bad shows and still be fine with doing that. So let's move on to April of 1997 then, shall we? I was about to say 1999. I'm wishing away a couple of years there. needlessly. But yeah, I think, as I say, Kimo going from the random wrestling review was not really something that I was desperate to do because he was bad, just because that was always the intention I had with the story. And I feel like we've played his story out. Like he came in to be Michael Modest's partner, is came in really to take the title off Buddy Wayne, failed to do that. Then he and Michael Modest started to see some friction. Modest turned on Kimo, and then Kimo went after Modest, went after the title, but failed to win it off of Modest, and now he's no more. Saying all that, I may just leave him on the roster. There are no consequences to me not continuing to use him because we've got this in the settings that I'm not worried about if people are left off show. I think it's called left off show complaints. I've turned them off because I'm just like really I don't really acknowledge it as a reasonable thing. I think fair enough if someone's maybe in this situation it is more fair enough, like where you're an independent promotion and you get paid per appearance. But if you're on a contract basis, and certainly the way the game does it, it tends to have them complain if they miss a couple of shows or even just one show sometimes. Whereas I feel like if you had a few weeks off, you'd probably be happy. As long as you were in general being used, you'd probably be happy. So I turned them off, but maybe I should release Kimo properly just to make this official. Well, WrestleMania's happened. So let's look at WrestleMania 13. The main event saw Razor Ramon defeat Diesel to retain the WWF World Heavyweight title, and that was backed up by Shawn Michaels defeating The Undertaker in a 100 rated match. I was just looking for Bret Hart. He was in a 6-man tag match alongside Jeff Jarrett and Road Warrior Animal here against Tatanka and the Two Aces. The Two Aces being Mark Canterbury and Barry Horowitz. Wow. What a match for Bret Hart to be involved in. Like, proper mid-card stuff, this. But the big one is, obviously, Ahmed Johnson defeated Road Warrior Hawk and Psycho Sid to retain the WWF Intercontinental title. I'm not sure I would ever want to see that triple threat match. I mean, maybe I would just to see how bad it was. And again, to hype our podcast, we have covered a lot of really bad wrestling shows. So, it's not like I'm not used to it. But wow, okay. So big stuff happening at WrestleMania. They got 83,000 attendance for it. Huge success financially and commercially and critically, in fairness, with 199 rated matches. Diesel, who was Wrestler of the Year in 1996, but lost the main event of WrestleMania to Razor Ramon, and I'm happy. I'm really happy to see Razor Ramon getting his run as a WWF champion. We also had Uncensored happen on the same night, where 55,000 people were at, and in the main event, Sting defeated the Giant and British Bulldog to win the WCW heavyweight title. Looks like he wasn't the champion going in. I'll have a look at who was. I think it might have been the Big Show. And Ric Flair defeated the Dingo Warrior. So Ric Flair versus Ultimate Warrior in the semi-main of Uncensored 1997. The wrestling landscape has changed somewhat there because that would suggest that Sting and Ric Flair are headed for another feud. I was going to look at WCW in terms of the title because I think Sting won it here. And yeah, he beat the Giant for it. So Sting is now a current 3-time WCW World Champion, and cool. Okay, that you know, fun as it might be. Financially, we were fine. We barely saw any difference in the profit we made from March to February, which means that we are still making more money all the time, and we could afford to pay some more people and make our shows even bigger, which we will probably do now that we know that we can afford it. What this is also going to mean, though, is I'm going to have to start planning the shows a little bit better because I'm not just putting on one show a night now where I can just kind of think about it off the hoof and it just happens. Um, let's have a look at our roster. I made the decision to release him, Kimo. I could have just kept him on the roster and it would have made no difference. But I think in the interest of being fair, we're going to release Kimo. That's the first release I think we've made from our roster. And yeah, we're going to now just set up what's to come next. So, what is to come next is a great question. I guess we're going to have Batista's debut at the next show, and let's create the next event. So what are we saying here? RWR. I haven't got anything in mind particularly for the main event. This is the problem. Whereas previously I've had that, I haven't really got it here. Blitzkrieg and Buddy Wayne won, didn't they? So maybe let me just see how many times they've fought each other before. Maybe thinking about the titles of the shows too much, but it's important to me that we maintain a certain level of quality. So what I want to do is find out. Not Buddy Jack Roberts, Buddy Wayne. So he has wrestled in a tag team with Buddy Wayne. Then they went to a time limit against each other. Then a tag team again. Then Buddy Wayne won. Then they went into a tag team match. So I think we're going to have Buddy Wayne versus Blitzkrieg 3 as the next show, because if we don't do that, I think because they both got 2 wins. So this is going back to my ranking system uh, kind of format. They both got 2 wins now, so they're equal number one contenders. So we need to determine who the number one contender is going to be, the next person to face Michael Modest. So that's what we're going to do in our next show, which will be in the next episode of this video series, by the way, because we are obviously already at 26 minutes in my recording, and I don't like to go over 30 minutes. So that's what we're going to do next. In terms of the main event, we're also going to have Dave Batista's in-ring debut. I think. I have to think about that for a moment. Should we also have a look at who we can hire? I think that's probably a good idea, given that we have just cut Kimo loose, and we've got the money, as I said previously, that we can use. And we also, if you think about it, last time, I think we used 8 wrestlers, and we had 8 wrestlers on the roster. But now we've cut Kimo. We did bring in Batista, though, so that makes 8. So maybe if I'm going to bring in anybody, I need to bring in 2 wrestlers rather than just one. Tempted to bring in a tag team, Bad Crew 1, 2. I think that makes sense. Who have we got? Let's have a look at our roster. So we've got Blitzkrieg who's a babyface, Buddy Wayne's a babyface, uh, Sean Stasiak's a babyface, and now Wellington Wilkins Jr. is a babyface. So we're reasonably balanced. We've got 4 heels and 4 faces. So maybe I should just bring a heel and a face, because otherwise I'm gonna. Yeah, I think that's probably the right way to go. Because otherwise I will unbalance. Interesting. ECMO, he's got to be. He's a blood relative of all these people. It doesn't say he's a blood relative of Kimo, but I'm pretty certain he is. He might even be his brother or something. I'm tempted to hire him based on that. I'm gonna have a look at this on Wikipedia and see if I can figure out. Oh god, it keeps on coming up with Kimo Leopoldo on Wikipedia. So Kimo Canola, that's not him either. This is no good. I can't find him. Oh, well, maybe it was it Rosie? It was Rosie Kimo? It was Rosie. Of course it was. Yeah, I knew that. I don't know why that suddenly surprised me. Um, so yeah, it doesn't say whether or not. So hang on. Sorry about this. I'm just trying to look up whether ECMO is his brother or his cousin. And yeah, this is not good. Well, apologies for all of you. Is ECMO Jamal? Is that who he is? Is that who ECMO is? Yeah, he's a MAGA. This is a MAGA. So they're cousins. So they're cousins. I might bring him in. I'm actually quite tempted to bring him in. I'm going to do it. I feel like there's a ready-made storyline here, which is that he's coming in to avenge his cousin. So I'm going to do that, and he's going to come in as a babyface for that purpose. So therefore, we need another heel. Who else can we get? I think we'll make that decision on the next episode because we are just up to the time limit now. So thank you for watching. Give us a like, give us a subscribe if you've enjoyed today, and we'll be back very shortly.